So back in the day, one of the most common things we used to do on the YouTube channel was news times. Pretty much every day I would go on and discuss the news around the NHL, whether it was rumors, signings, trades, anything. I would put it into a news time video. And I figured I'd try and bring it back, but instead with much more editing involved, with many more news, with many more takes, with many more going based off my opinion, I just want to bring everything into this news time and kind of make it relevant, I guess. So yeah, basically, if you're new to the channel and you haven't already subscribed, I would love you to do that because we're trying to get to 900 subscribers. We're currently 25 subscribers away, so I really would appreciate it if you would stop by and hit that subscribe button. And anyways, I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Let's get into the news time. First off, before we get into the rumors and the other stuff, we have a couple of signings that we have to discuss. Travis Dermott signed a 2-year extension with the Toronto Maple Leafs worth $1.5 million. He's played 51 games, has 2 goals, 4 assists for 6 points. So obviously, he's not the same Travis Dermott we all know. We've seen him in trade rumors. Does he get claimed by Seattle? I'm not too sure. I think this may be another one of those signings where you have him under contract, so in that way he is eligible for the Seattle Kraken. That's kind of the way I go at it when I look at that aspect. Brett Howden re-signed with the New York Rangers for a 1-year, $855K extension. The forward had 42 games played, 1 goal, 6 assists for 7 points. Again, another one of those signings for the Seattle Kraken expansion draft. I would expect a lot of the signings that we see over the next couple of days will be related to that, so don't be surprised if we see Libor Hayek get an offer sheet. This is just to leave these guys under contract so they can potentially get claimed by the Seattle Kraken. And finally, Jonas Siegenthaler signed a 2-year, $1.125 million extension with the New Jersey Devils. The defenseman played 15 games this season, had no goals, no assists, no points. So it was a pretty sad season for Siegenthaler. And he was also traded mid-season by the Washington Capitals for a second-round pick. So that signing is obviously to leave him under contract for when the Kraken come in the expansion draft. I mean, it's not like they're obviously going to protect Jonas Siegenthaler, right? I don't think they should. Don't, please. And finally, we move on to news that isn't signings. Now, something that was pretty obvious ever since it happened back in January. I remember covering it, and it just got so many views. Tony DeAngelo. It's pretty obvious that in this buyout period, he's going to be bought out any day now. I would expect it sometime this week. Just his time with the New York Rangers has been stale, and it just the incidents that happened in January, you can't keep him around after that. So he's obviously done with the Rangers, and is anyone surprised? Not really. And now we move on to the Arizona Coyotes and their dumpster fire organization, and we're talking about Connor Garland. The extension isn't close between him and the Coyotes. Obviously, Connor Garland's an RFA, had a big season for the Arizona Coyotes, and was a big reason why they just barely finished out of that playoff spot. I thought he played really good, and I thought he's worthy of a contract in Arizona, but an extension is not close. And we saw a couple weeks ago where on May 20th, Connor Garland's agent sent in 2 proposals to the Coyotes, and the Coyotes didn't even respond. They said nothing to him. So, and from that makes me think that he isn't a guy they want to keep, and that is wrong for the Coyotes. That is just wrong. No, you want to keep him. Like, you don't have much under him. Like, under him you have Bunting and Chychrun. Those are really the only other young guys who had solid seasons for the Coyotes this season. I don't understand how you don't keep Garland. Like, this just goes to show how bad this organization is. Now, granted, they did hire Andre Tournier as their head coach, and they did hire someone from the Colorado Avalanche as their head of scouting. But I just honestly, I don't see what makes sense of not getting an extension with Connor Garland. Maybe he wants too much money. I would understand that, but I feel like he honestly would deserve the amount of money. We have tons of cap space alone. We're about to lose about, $20 million to the Blue Line agents leaving, and we could get even more cap space if we trade Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Like, I honestly just don't understand how that's going to work. So it's just ridiculous to me how they can't get an extension on one of their best players. Next up, we got some news regarding prospect William Eklund. Apparently wants to spend another season in Sweden. Now, it's not determined where he's going to go, obviously. I have him going in between 3rd and 8th overall, so he can go to Anaheim at the highest, Los Angeles at the lowest. So I just think that it makes sense he wants to spend another season in Sweden because Owen Power's reportedly leading towards spending another season in college. It makes sense because I don't think you're going to see much of any players from this draft class playing in this year's NHL. So you're going to have to wait until next season to see most of these guys play. Like, I don't think Power's playing. I haven't heard anything about Beniers. I think he's still on for playing. At least from what I've heard. I don't think Eklund's playing. I don't think Luke Hughes will be. I just don't, it's obvious because you had a big COVID year and you obviously want to end your college and your Sweden and your everything of that nature. You want to end all that on a good note. So it makes sense that these guys don't want to go to North America right away. But it is notable when it comes to the draft, and people definitely need to know that before they draft these guys. So something that we knew that was pretty obvious right off the gate is Taylor Hall. It was with me. Like, I had him re-signing with Boston for probably a 4-year extension. But now, honestly, I don't know. He is gaining interest, and it looks like he does want a 4-year contract worth, I think it was $6 million. I don't know the exact salary cap number, but I know for a fact he wants 4-year contract. So the Bruins need to look at that, and they're going to say, well, it's Taylor Hall. He had a good season. He said he's willing to make less money. He's made enough money in the league before. They have that in their favor, but it looks like apparently teams like Toronto and, a couple other teams are interested in Taylor Hall and are probably going to give him some offers. He may test the waters in free agency, but then come back to Boston if he doesn't get anything. That could be what Taylor Hall goes for. I'm not too sure, in all honesty. That really is up to him. We won't find out until probably around July 25th, July 26th, whether or not he's staying with the Boston Bruins or he decides to go somewhere else. So it's a big question. But I just think that judging off of what he said in press conferences and everything like that with the Bruins, I can't imagine he doesn't leave Boston. I would imagine he would stay and sign a 4-year contract with them. It just seems better, and Boston being my third favorite team now, yeah, I'm not complaining. I would love to see Taylor Hall with the Bruins. That's great to see, and I hope he does good with Boston if he stays. But if he doesn't, best of wishes everywhere else, Taylor. You deserve a Stanley Cup. This next one is on the Philadelphia Flyers, hence the Flyers merchandise. They are reportedly trying to trade Jacob Vorachek. Now, there is a mutual agreement between the two saying that, yes, it may be time to move on. We're going to try and deal you away out of here for, I don't know what they really get for him, in all honesty. If you're going to trade Vorachek with his age and his high cap hit, I can't see a sweetener going back the other way. Like, let's say if they trade Nolan Patrick and Jacob Vorachek for, let's say, Seth Jones. Does Columbus take that? No, but I feel like you need a sweetener, like maybe a guy like Nolan Patrick or a prospect, potentially like German Rubstov, a guy like him, maybe some picks, get thrown back the other way to the team, and you may have to retain salary as well. I don't think a team will go out and acquire him. It's good that they're trying to trade for him because if they can find a team that wants him, I'm not complaining because as much as like Voracek, I grew up watching him and I think he's still a great player with some potential. He's pretty old and he has a very high cap hit for this Flyers team. And the Flyers are kind of having a youth movement right now. They want to get out those old guys and bring in the young guys who are developing in this prospect pool system for the team. So obviously it makes sense they want to trade him. And I've also heard that they aren't going to leave him protected against Seattle. So he's going to be able for Seattle to take. Does Seattle take him? No. I don't see that. No chance. I look at his contract and his age, and I mean, if Seattle wants to go out for that, I wouldn't complain. But I just don't know. In all honesty, I don't think he gets traded or goes to Seattle at all. Next up, we have some things regarding the San Jose Sharks. Apparently, they are open for business. Okay, so I don't know if that means they're going into the rebuild because the team's refusing to do that, or that means they're just trading out guys for prospects. I don't even know. So Kevin LeBanc, Radim Semek, and Kevin Gambrell are amongst notable players who could be traded this offseason for the Sharks. So LeBanc will definitely get some value. I think LeBanc's an underrated forward. Semek, a solid third pairing depth defender. He could get some interest later in the future, but I just don't know what you would really get back in return. And for Kevin Gambrell, I don't know about him either. These guys are really just like, they're young guys, but they're not like, notably good young guys, honestly. Like, they're guys that, like, I guess they're trying to move them out for picks and prospects. If there's anyone you want to try and move out, although it would be impossible, is Erik Karlsson and or Brent Burns. Like, no. Those players have been terrible. Although Brent Burns has been fairly good, fairly underratedly good for that Sharks team. I just like, if you can try and move Erik Karlsson out of San Jose and you have all those bad contracts as well, do it. I do it. You need to at least test the waters and see if there's a team interested. Like, let's say you want Erik Karlsson? Okay, we'll retain like 25% of his salary, and we'll take Craig Smith from you if the Bruins wanted him. That wouldn't work, but you know what I mean. Retain salary. I think that's what they want to do if they want to trade a guy like Erik Karlsson. But of course, he's not among the notable players because they can't trade guys with high cap hits. So Karlsson's there to stay in San Jose. You're welcome. Another thing is the Blue Jackets, regarding Seth Jones once again, has given him information to talk to other teams to try and work out, the trade much better and see what teams he likes more. Obviously. I mean, he's obviously going to talk to Philadelphia. He's going to talk to Chicago. He's going to talk to Los Angeles. He's going to talk to a good amount of teams and see, like, okay, so what do you have willing to offer me? Where would you put me on your depth chart? Like, how would you benefit me in a way? Because he is kind of, he does have 1 year left on his contract. He's not going to look at an extension right away. He's probably going to stay with the team that he plays with for 1 year. And then if he likes what he sees with the team, he'll probably get an extension. I think that's how he's going to roll with it. He's reported that he's not looking for an extension, right away. He doesn't, like, as soon as he gets traded, he's like, okay, let's talk like a 90-year, $47 million contract. Kidding. He's not going to look at that right away. I think he's going to want to play it by ear and see how he likes the team before he does that. And that could piss teams off if, let's say, by the end of the season he gets traded to Philadelphia for, Nolan Patrick, first-round pick, a trade like that. And, I'm not saying Patrick goes to Columbus, but you know what I mean. And the team does terrible. The team's absolutely horrible, which really wouldn't surprise me. And then he's like, yeah, no, I'm out. So it will piss guys like Chuck Fletcher off, who made a deal for Seth Jones and traded away a lot for him. But I think, like, part of the reason why there hasn't been a trade that's conducted yet is because I think he's too high in value. I think Jarmo Kekalainen's rating him too high in, like, his value, and he wants a lot back for Seth Jones. And Seth Jones really isn't that good. He had a relatively down year this season for the Columbus Blue Jackets. So, honestly, I don't know where they go with that. You can let me know down in the comments below. But yeah, I just don't know where they go from here, honestly. And finally, our final piece of news here for today: the Ducks are reportedly trying to trade Adam Henrique once again. Now, I said this in so many videos. Adam Henrique is just not the forward he used to be with the New Jersey Devils and in the first couple of years with those Anaheim Ducks teams. He really hasn't been. He's fallen off. And, I mean, this season shows that. 45 games played, 12 goals, 9 assists for 21 points. Just not the Henrique we saw earlier in his career. And that doesn't surprise me that they're trying to deal him out of there, because who wouldn't? I mean, you look at all the guys in there, like, you should. You honestly should try and trade him. Although, what are you going to get for him? I'll leave that up to Anaheim. I'm really not sure what Adam Henrique's value would be. Honestly, with the cap hit that he has and his age, I don't think he's worth any more than a 4th-round pick. Like, that's, I think, what would happen to Henrique for a 4th. Like, in all honesty, his trade value is down significantly. His goal scoring's gone. His point scoring's not good. He's not as fast and not as physical as he was earlier in his career. He's kind of just, fallen off as a player, to be honest with you. So, let me know what you guys think about that down below in the comments. Let me know what you think about other rumors and stuff as well. I'd like to thank y'all for watching, for supporting the channel as of late. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, this video is probably going to take a while to edit. But anyways, I appreciate y'all. And I'll see you guys in the next video.